Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin. How's it going?
Good. This is a new spot for us to be recording, so this is fun and exciting.
Yeah, welcome to my home.
I know. Thank you.
Good to have you here.
We get to record with your cats this time.
I know, right? My cat's interrupting us instead of yours.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But
So,
what's turning you on?
what's turning me on the most right now is that we are recording this for YouTube.
Finally, we got it together.
Yes, we'll see. We're working it out. We're testing new
Yes.
things, and I think YouTube's a great medium for us to be on.
Yeah.
A, because we're stunningly gorgeous,
Of course.
and B, because it can reach more people, and hopefully
Yeah.
we'll have really good content. And today is really, really good content for us.
Yeah, it's pretty good content today.
Yeah. So what's turning you on?
Changing seasons. Feels nice. Feels like this reinvigoration going on.
Yeah.
And I told you guys I was gonna give dating a try again, and I have dipped my toe in. Has not been going great.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the highlight and the low light of getting back on the dating scene?
Highlight, I went out with a very cute guy, so that was nice, and had a little sexual energy going on there. Low light was I went on probably the worst date of my life, but I don't know. It's learning experiences, you know.
If you could glean like a piece of advice for our listeners, either male or female, on either end of the spectrum, what would it be?
Well, I would say on how to not have a bad date, or
like what this person did that made it such a bad date?
Yeah. Well, anytime you talk about your mental break at some point in your life on the first date, and then the psych evaluation that you had to get because of said mental break,
Ooh.
TMI.
Yeah, overshare.
Yeah.
Way overshare.
Overshare on date one.
Yeah. I think anything that you wouldn't tell to like an employer in a
Yes.
job interview. I mean, obviously you talk more about your personal life,
Right,
but
right.
or anything that you wouldn't share at a holiday party. You don't share on your first date.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unless you've already like really scoped this person out and you're like
Right.
maybe headed to
We had not.
yeah. Ouch. Okay.
But I mean, ultimately, I'm not deterred too much by this. I know some people will be like, screw it, I'm out. I'm not dating anymore, but I don't care.
You're not gonna let that
No.
get you down. Well, and let's be real, this season is not just like a change of the season, it's just fall. It's also back to school, right? So
That's true.
even though you and I are not going
Yeah.
back to school
Yes.
by any means this September, I still think there's this kind of like renewed energy of fresh beginnings and fresh
Absolutely.
starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I think that fall is the best time to go on new dates.
Yeah?
Because you get to wear, so you're not like boiling hot. So you get to wear like clothes that really reflect you, right?
Yes.
Instead of just like what's not going to make me sweat.
Yeah.
Right? And there's so many cool things to do. It's fun to be outside and inside. Like it's cool to, you can kind of like back and forth out of both. Mulled cider, or
love
mulled wine
cider so much.
pumpkin things.
Oktoberfest beers.
Yeah. Let's
Fall
be real.
beers are my absolute favorite.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize fall really is a great season for drinking.
It totally is.
Yeah, it is. Plus, drinking makes you a little bit warmer. You get to wear cute little
Cozier.
furs and hats. Like, I'm obviously, a lot of dating for me is about the look. But, aesthetics matter.
Of course they do. Yes.
Yeah. And then you get to, like, cuddle up because you're cold later.
That's true. Cuddling. There's usually leather jackets, leather boots. Sexy. Yeah, I get it. I get the vibe. Well, plus, and then to, be very selfish about it, my birthday's in October.
Oh, hell yes! Yes!
So it's just a fun time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, we'll have to talk about birthdays because mine's coming up in November.
Yeah.
Birthday sex.
Absolutely.
Sex.
Oh, man. Maybe I'll actually get birthday sex this year. We'll see.
And hopefully it's delicious and wonderful. And if you start laying the groundworks now,
That's true.
you definitely
We're
can
about
have
4 weeks
awesome
out,
birthday
so-
sex. All right, so
Yeah.
we've got a 4-week plan ahead to
I like plans.
Yeah.
I like, being put on a track. So, good. 4-week plan to have good birthday
coming
sex.
up. Yeah,
Nice.
and hopefully the kind of birthday sex that does not include the stuff we're going to talk about today.
Yes. Which, shall we dive right in?
Yeah, let's get in there.
All right. So what are we discussing today?
So today's episode is about mistakes that people learned from porn and then brought into the bedroom with their partners.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh.
So the whole porn topic is a super, super broad topic. So
Yeah,
we're
there's a lot.
going to keep it a little bit more focused today. We'll dive into more of the other stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack in that industry.
Yeah.
But and then hopefully we will get firsthand experience from a porn actress.
Yes, a real life porn star.
A real life porn star.
Yes, to share her insights.
Yeah.
So a couple disclaimers before we even get into this subject is that we're not. Our thoughts on porn are different and varied and specific to the situation. And so we're not condoning porn. We're not hating on porn. We're not saying that you should or shouldn't watch porn. That's all for a different episode.
Right.
Yeah. What we're discussing today are really common mistakes, especially now as we've had a generation of people who grew up with access to internet porn.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So it's made a big difference.
Yeah, it's kind of replaced sex education in its own way.
It is sex education.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, given that there's such a, now this is getting political, but that there's such a lack of good sex education in this country, people will find a way. I mean, think about how we did it when we were kids. Like, we listened to siblings or our friends' siblings, or movies. I mean, that's where we got our the real nitty-gritty info from.
Right. Unless you had some parents that were really forward-thinking and shared with you some useful information. And even then, it was mostly about, like, how to not get pregnant.
Right.
At least for me.
It's not, and no one wants to have the different positions chat or what's a blowjob chat with their parents.
Right. No, it's probably, they're not the appropriate educators for you. But to that point, neither is porn, right? Because porn is not about reality. It's like very fictional. And my mom always gave me the disclaimer when we would watch a movie that had, like, say, a really violent scene in it, right? If I was to be scared or whatever, she always reminded me, like, it's just a movie, it's not real, it's just a movie.
That's nice.
And porn does not come with that disclaimer.
No. And that is my blanket statement that I wanted to make after kind of, mulling this over for the past couple days is the biggest mistake that I think people make in porn or people make because of watching porn is expectations.
How so?
Just that they see something. I mean, this is a staged scene that is carefully planned out, although not always. There's sometimes amateur porn. But for the most part, it's very staged, very practiced and planned. That's not how sex is in real life. And people need to remember, this is for entertainment. This is not real life.
Yeah. Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and you don't see what happens behind camera. You don't see what happens before camera, like how people are preparing for their scene. Even amateur porn, right? Like, these people have an existing relationship, agreements. They made a plan to get the camera out. At least there was some pre-planning that went into it. Even just a couple minutes. Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't just sprung on somebody.
Right. Which is actually one of the major things that we're going to discuss today.
Yeah. But, I mean, should we get into, like, specifics?
Yeah, let's, like, hop into specifics. And I also want to think on, like, stories and in particular times that people have done this or done certain things for you. So I'll start with my biggest pet peeve.
Okay.
Something that men in particular, I'm going to say men in particular, because that's where I've noticed it, learned from porn that brought into the bedroom was the clit slap.
Yes.
Or the clit spanking, or anything that looks like a flat hand tapping somewhat aggressively my clitoris. My very first ever sex partner did that. For sure, he had to learn it from porn because I was...
Like
16,
the person
he was 17. Yeah. He didn't do it. I don't think he did it that time, like when we had sex the first time. But there was definitely a moment in time where he started spanking my clit.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like, that's definitely happened to me before. I don't have, like, this clear idea of which partner it was or at what point in my life, but I know it's been done. And every time it hasn't so much, like, offended me as much as I've just been like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like,
right. Yeah, I think it can verge from
good.
Uncomfortable to painful.
Yeah.
At worst, maybe they go really hard or, the way that the clip works is it goes from being kind of like hidden and it comes out and then gets sensation. And then when sensation gets to be too much, it hides back under its hood again, right? So if you're slapping it or spanking it in the wrong state of arousal, when it's like really exposed and vulnerable,
and very sensitive.
Yeah, you could actually cause it to retreat and cause, a woman's arousal to decrease significantly.
It's essentially a boner killer.
Yeah, boner killer. Yeah,
it's a lady
good
boner
call.
killer.
How would you feel about getting your boner slapped? Like just bap, 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 bap. You wouldn't like it. And the boner is like the erectile tissue, like the surface of the skin, the penis and all that is basically the same material as the clit.
Yeah, it's just that for a woman, our erections are inside our body.
Yeah.
But the clit is about the same like tissue mass as a penis.
Yep, it also gets erections. It has a head and a shaft. It's about 8 to 10 times more sensitive than your penis. And
nerves.
that is like on one tiny, like the thing at the pinhead, right? Like imagine if all the nerves all over your penis were all maximized by 8 times and then placed into like one spot smaller than the tip of your finger.
And then you got some girl
tapping it.
No thanks. Pass. Also, it doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. It does nothing to bring me to
No. And I don't know if the idea is that tapping is going to bring more blood flow. I don't know if that was the initial thought. And I think we had briefly discussed this previously, but I think it's literally just to hear the noise on film.
Oh, yeah. It kind of sounds like male masturbation, right?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. And so in porn, it's like kind of hot to hear, like ball slapping and, like the skin on skin contact. Right. But again, that's like for cinematic value.
Yeah, you're so right. Because when you're just watching it, it's just visual, right? Unless it has some sound effects, you have to go out of your way to make sounds happen when it's porn.
Exactly.
I think that's like its own area of discussion, right?
Yeah.
The fact that so much of porn is done in service to the way things are filmed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that is, I think that's a big problem with the way that people think porn is supposed to, or real sex is supposed to look. In porn, they hold insane positions so that you can get a direct shot of the genitals.
Yes.
Direct shot. In real life, it doesn't work that way because your bodies are folded together.
Right. They're like third party who needs to get a good angle in order to see what's going on. Usually. Just one-on-one sex.
Well, and even if there is a third party there, they're in the room.
Yeah,
they don't need the whole porn.
Right. They're picking up on the energy. They don't need to have the visual and the audio effects because they're like actually sharing in that space. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my biggest complaint has been, because like I'm fairly flexible, but people just kind of like pushing the boundaries of that where I'm like, okay, my knees do not need to be resting on my shoulders right now.
Right. Because I think often men are looking for, and again, I'm using men here, the aesthetic and not for the feeling. How does this look versus like, is this actually pleasurable?
Right. Like, I don't know if you're trying to tie me up into a little origami crab rangoon and see how tight my body can feel. But that hurts.
Yeah, right? I'm a person.
I have hips.
Yes,
they're not meant to bend backwards and forwards and stretch my legs east and west.
Right. And porn stars do stretch.
Yes.
And they do prepare for their scene because they know later today I'm going to be having sex for like 5 or 6 hours and I'm getting paid to do it. I'm a professional. I have to do things to prepare for it.
Right. Yeah. And so when I, we'll just use a woman in this situation, probably a woman, is bending forward and her one leg is like at a 90-degree angle while, her partner's behind her. That's for the shot. That's not comfortable. No one needs to do that.
Right. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's my biggest personal complaint that I've had with things that people learn from porn is I am not Stretch Armstrong. My body and my limbs do not move like that, and you don't need to push it that far.
No, right. And that brings me to another major complaint that I have, which is the thought that women's bodies in particular do not need a warm-up.
Yes, I was just, I was just thinking about that,
and that's true for vaginal sex, and it's definitely true for anal sex.
More so.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you only watched porn, you would have the idea that anal sex could happen literally at any time.
Popping in.
Yep, just go for it. Especially with like well, we can talk about the perceptions of like average penis size, right?
True.
But you watch, or at least I watch women's bodies be able to take these like enormous toys, enormous penises in their anuses as if they were just like open and ready for business at any time.
Right.
Not true. But absolute fiction.
That there is, because if you look closely, that's the thing. Like when I watch porn, I don't know if it's just, I mean, I was at a porn convention earlier this year and I am friends with a porn star and, you know, so I don't know if I just have more in-depth, like, inside info. But when you watch a porn, especially if it's like an anal scene, you know, they just kind of go for it. If you look closely, you can see the lube. There's already lube on there, and no one's butt is that naturally relaxed.
Right, and
like it's shiny, like a little sparkly butterfly or whatever. No, they had like in previous scenes.
Yep.
They had something inside their butt
Yep.
to warm you up.
Yep.
And there's lots of lube on both the penis and the butt already.
Yeah, and already inside. Like there's lube already inside of the recipient. So it's not just like lubing up the thing that's going in there. Like they've had a toy that was sort of stretching them out. And the anus is great for this, right? Like this is good news, is that the anus actually can be slowly stretched and relaxed. And that's why like if you're preparing to have anal sex even for the first time, you can start with like slim butt plugs and move to medium and then move to a butt plug and always use a toy that has a base or a phalange because the vagina is a cul-de-sac, but the anus is just a highway to your digestive system.
And also a highway to the emergency room.
Yes.
And then that's, we've talked about that before. That is such a buzzkill. You don't want your sexy night to end up in the hospital because you have something stuck in your butt.
No, even if you're into doctors and nurses, you prefer to keep it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't bring doctors and nurses into your fantasies.
No, not consensually.
They did not consent. They will make fun of you later.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're going to tell us when we get together and talk to them about our careers. They're like, you wouldn't believe what I saw. Yeah.
Like, well, actually, I do believe.
Right, exactly. I'm probably the only person who does. So use a toy, warm up, and also butt sex. Like I think this is what happens is that people assume that because they see over and over and over again the anal is easily achieved in porn, they think that it will be easily achieved the first time anyone tries it,
or every time.
Yes, yeah.
Because just because you've had anal sex once doesn't mean that even, you know, if you use lube and you go slowly, that you're going to be prepared for it another time.
Yep, yeah.
You know, who knows what is going on. You may be too stressed for it. You may not be able to fully relax. You know, maybe with somebody that you don't just really quite trust enough yet.
Or you ate some sketchy carry-out earlier. And, you know, let's not forget that I would say nearly 100% of anal scenes, the person who's receiving anal sex has had an enema recently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why they're able to go ass to mouth and ass to vagina, which, like, let's get into that. That also could be very, very dangerous. Now, I'm a huge proponent of educating those people who are nervous about anal sex. Poop is not stored in your rectum, right? It's up higher. That's more of a passageway that it just like comes through, right? So it's not as if there's going to be a lot of fecal matter.
No.
But
there is trace amount.
There's going to be some, right?
Residual.
Amount. It happens, right?
Yeah.
And enemas are great for clearing that up, but enemas also require a good degree of comfort and familiarity and planning. Yes. If I haven't had a chance to do an enema earlier in the evening and then we're suddenly talking about anal sex might still be on the table because I'm familiar with it, I've done it before, my partner, I've practiced that, but we're going to take it differently than if I had an opportunity to prepare for it.
Yes, so just be prepared.
Yeah, but
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. And you're right, bodies change from time to time. And vaginas too, right? Like sometimes I'm capable of just like going for it, right? Like circumstances are right, lubrication is right, relaxation is right.
What,
and
for vaginal?
For vaginal sex. And other times I need a warm up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes like having a finger or two or even like a toy that's smaller than the penis is helpful for going, like, because the vagina also doesn't want to go 0 to 100.
No, you can't. I mean, no.
That's how you end up with like pain and trauma
and tears, micro tears.
Yeah,
which then are also make you more susceptible to contracting STIs. Mm-hmm. So, and then there's also, I mean, with anal, micro tears are a big thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. 'Cause they can lead to all kinds of illnesses.
Yeah. And that's why there's, that big conception that there's more STIs in the gay community because of anal sex, but it's really just because of micro tears. That's really it.
Mm-hmm. And because there's a lot of stigmatization, right? Especially like otherwise identified straight men who have sex with men. And because bringing a condom into that kind of requires you to do the mental work of going, okay, we're having sex, right? And if you have so much shame and stigma about what your sexual desires are that you won't even bring a condom into a sexual scenario, it's like the mental distinction between like we're having sex and we're not, and I'm gay and I'm not, and all that, like, which is its own subject and really sad. So like, if you're gonna have sex, like you do the mental work that allows you to be cool with what you're doing,
right?
And also bring a barrier of whatever variety,
right?
That note on warming up the vagina leads me to one other bone I've got to pick with porn, which is the way that women are fingered in porn.
God, yes.
It is, again, it goes back to this idea that it's for the camera. There's a lot of like in and out, like sawing motion, right? And
I mean, that's like, when I first heard the term finger blasting, I think of porn. I mean, also, I think it's just really funny.
It is a great
finger blasting is just
term.
hilarious.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. It sounds like a Nerf gun.
It does. It does. Finger blaster. It sounds, yes. Also can be really fucking painful.
Yeah, or really pleasurable.
Painful. Yeah,
if you do it correctly. So wait, would you say finger blast is more of that like sawing motion?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, as opposed to this like hooked, like shaking back and forth, right?
Yeah.
The truth is that the vagina is not sensitized by the in and out. The in and out is just like a product of what men and women together, when you get a penis and a vagina together, that feels pleasurable for both partners if done correctly, right? But the vagina is like most sensitive in the first 1.5 to 2 inches. So if you're stimulating the 1.5 to 2 inches,
so small.
It's so small, right? You actually,
so small.
But that's where it is, right? And then the G-spot is within like the first 2 inches on the anterior wall, the front wall, right? Yeah. So if you're making that like come hither motion with your fingers and you're squeezing your fingers back and forth instead of like rocking your arm in and out, you're going to have a way more pleasurable experience. But no one wants to see that on camera.
Because it's not sexy, it's not hot. Again, it's for like the cinematic value.
Yeah.
Right. Like you gotta make grand gestures and make noises that aren't necessarily natural for the camera. Very much so. It's like the same concept,
Right. Let's get into expecting women to be extremely vocal.
Oh, God.
And orgasmic right away.
Right. Yeah. Because you and I had read a Reddit article and somebody commented on that where they were like, well, sometimes it takes me longer to warm up than others. And like, men often get discouraged or upset by the fact that their partners are not, screaming with ecstasy within 2 minutes.
Right.
And it's like, well, also, because the porn that I watch is almost all of the videos are right around 11 minutes. So it's like, I know how they start. Usually start, middle, more middle, and so in that 11 minutes they were probably filming for hours to get all of that. Right. But it's just been carefully curated for that 11 minutes.
Right. But that number is interesting too, because like that's still more time than the average man lasts in bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, they have to get the plot line in there first.
Because you're watching quality porn that has plot lines.
Yeah. I think the porn that I watch is slightly more geared towards women because there's a legitimate plot line, at least in the beginning. And then this is very interesting, but there's no, like, the woman will get down on her knees so that the man can come in her mouth or on her face, but they don't actually show the man ejaculating.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they zoom to instead? Like
They just cut. So they'll show him like kind of like jerking like with her, her mouth open and whatever, and then like right before he comes, the end.
Interesting.
Which I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't want to see somebody coming on somebody's eyes, like, because I don't want that.
That's another mistake that people learn, right? Is that because in porn, in order for like you as the viewer to know that that guy had an orgasm, right? There has to be a visual. Yes. In reality, I think most women are okay with being came upon from time and again.
Yeah.
But that is not my preferred place
Not
for
on
you
my
to ejaculate.
face.
No.
It truly, to me, it just feels disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, you can come on my neck, my chest, my stomach, my back, my butt. Sure. That's kind of sexy. I like it. And then you can clean it up. But coming on my face, like, come on.
Yeah.
I want to be able to just, like, kiss you afterwards.
Right,
I have, like, your cum dripping off my nose.
Right, yeah. I think it's, there's some face stuff is okay. I'm okay with mouth stuff, coming in my mouth, coming in my face. Not near my eyes. Like,
or my hair.
Nothing is worse than jizz in your eye. It burns. It honestly is burns. Like, I would rather dive into a salty ass ocean or an over-chlorinated public pool. That is a more comfortable thing to get in your eye than jizz. Plus, if I'm wearing mascara, now one of my eyes is black as well as red. And it went from like being cute and enjoyable to like now I'm having a minor meltdown in your bathroom.
I mean, if we're having like super hot shower sex and I trust you and care about you, yeah, you can come on my face because I can wash it off like that.
I like that. Yeah, that's a great way to get around that.
Yeah, that needs to be something that is like pre-planned,
or
at least discussed prior to.
Yes, yeah. I think that's great. If you're hot and into facials, like that's awesome. Talk about it first. Keep some baby wipes near the bed, maybe, right? I think that's fine. Like I'm totally into that, and or like coming in my mouth, like I'm okay with that too. If we've talked about it and like that's I'm having sex with a partner that's already part of our routine,
right? Yeah.
But again, porn kind of makes it look like whoever you have sex with, first time, second time, thousandth time, that you definitely need to come very visibly somewhere on her body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not true.
Right. Also, like, there's something really nice about ejaculating if you're fluid bonded and on birth control or trying to conceive, even whatever, right? Having an orgasm inside of your partner, like that feels really connected and really nice, and then there's no like break in the motion,
right?
And if I'm gonna reach, like, it's really hot for me when my partner climaxes,
absolutely.
So like just knowing that he's orgasming can sometimes bring me to orgasm,
yeah.
But not if he's orgasming on my face, because then there's nothing going on down there,
right? From
him, anyways.
No, I completely agree. Like that is, feeling my partner come can definitely get me off.
Yeah.
Too.
Right.
Yeah, that's hot.
Right, but only if I'm still being stimulated.
Of course.
Yeah. So not expecting her to make a whole bunch of noise. So like that expectation.
And I hate, when guys ask, and this hasn't happened too often, but like, oh, do you like that? Do you like my dick? And like, I'm like, ooh.
Oh, some of the dirty talk that gets expressed in porn.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Right. Which I guess, a lot of what I watch now doesn't have too much dirty talk. Or, the flip side, when women are just like losing their minds and like making super like high pitched crazy noises. Yeah. When you're just like, oh, God, stop.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
You don't want your woman to be lying to you, right? You like, if she's super vocal in bed, that's awesome. I did a whole YouTube video on why women make noise in bed. Like, it's actually been something that we've evolved with, right? It's like really fascinating science behind that. Yeah, it's really cool. I'll link to it in our show notes or our YouTube video. Yeah. But if she's doing it too often, too loudly, when it doesn't feel good for her, she's lying to you, and she's making this like connection between, oh, this feels good, when it really doesn't.
Right.
And that's screwing up your ability to have sex in a way that's mutually pleasurable.
Right.
So like only making noise when it feels good.
Right.
And only making as much noise as feels right.
Yeah. But I hate when partners want to like dirty talk with me. Although I have heard like good examples of how to dirty talk if you don't feel comfortable with it, is to just say what you want to do, what you are doing, or what you liked them doing to you before.
Right.
And those are 3 simple ways.
Yeah.
So if your partner is into it and you're drawing a blank, and you're just like, I don't know what to say, you can kind of narrate what's happening.
Yes, exactly. Dirty talk can be great, but it can also be awkward. And the dirty talk that comes from porn,
awkward.
Usually awkward.
Yeah. Eesh.
So we haven't talked about the biggest expectation that I run into when I'm working with men.
Uh-huh.
The thing that they learned from porn that messes them up the most in bed, comparing themselves to porn stars. Their size. Yes, exactly.
Wow. There's a reason why these people are porn stars.
Yeah.
It's their job.
They're hired specifically for that.
Yeah.
There's tons of men that would love to be in porn.
Oh, for sure.
But you only get to be in porn if your dick is way above average.
Way above average. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also have to work out like crazy and make sure that you are this chiseled Greek god, this Adonis.
Although they're not all, let's be real.
That's true. Yeah.
Male porn stars can get away with so much. They can have a beer belly and be hairy and maybe not the porn.
Again, the porn that
you're
I watch.
watching quality porn.
Again, for the ladies.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so many male porn stars, at least, like, I don't watch porn on a super regular basis, so I'm more familiar with porn that was out, like, 10 years ago. I was watching it a lot more.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, all of these women have had breast augmentation. They are working out like crazy. They're getting their hair done and their nails done, and we could talk about fingering with fake nails, because that's another thing. Yeah. But these guys would be, like, dopey, ugly, like, hairy, not cute, not well kept, but they'd have these, like, dicks, like, as big as their arm. And no one cares.
Swanging dick.
Apparently, yeah, they just, like, come in like womp, right? So there's a couple things that male porn stars have that regular men do not have, right? They have enormous Johnsons. They have fluffers.
Yeah.
They have sometimes Viagra and other drugs, right? So it is no wonder that they have enormous erections. They're able to pound and pound and pound and pound and pound and pound and pound for what seems like, hours or endlessly.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and also I feel like these people, again, they were hired for a reason because they have the ability to, keep their huge dick hard for X amount of time.
Yeah, and they've got a staff of people who are supporting that.
Yeah.
Right.
There is literally a whole staff back there, unless it's like super low budget porn.
Right.
Like anything that is a little bit higher end, there's literally an entire camera crew, a whole staff. They have snacks. They have like craft services.
Right. They take breaks.
Yeah.
If they lose their erection, they cut and get it back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't ejaculate early because they've been trained. Yeah. They're professionals. And yeah, if you're watching amateur porn, those people who are not, like, the people who go and film amateur porn are doing it because they meet these criteria.
Right.
Like, if they didn't, they wouldn't be filming themselves and getting traction online.
Right. They might still film it.
Sure.
They're just not going to release it to the public.
And they're not going to be on, like, the most viewed amateur page on Pornhub.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Not making huge hits on that. But it kind of, this brought me to another thought. Have you ever heard of Hump?
Oh, the film festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, but I have not ever attended.
I haven't attended either, but I would love to one go and two one day like submit a video.
Oh yeah? Okay.
But Amateur Film Festival put on by Dan Savage.
Yeah.
And it tours the whole country now. So
yeah, we should see when it's coming back around because it's an annual thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, do you already have a video or would you make a new one to submit?
No. Yeah, I do have a video, but the other partner is not a consenting partner.
Yeah,
so.
You definitely have to have releases from everybody.
Yeah. So I have one, but that's a special one that I'm gonna keep for myself and no one else.
Being posted on revenge porn sites.
No.
As it shouldn't.
No, none of that.
Yeah, we have a good one. I could see. We'd have to edit it. We've got a lot of like scenes that we filmed one day, but we never actually like strung them together into anything.
Well, you guys have the equipment to edit.
Maybe after I'm done editing this. No, kidding. We'll see. We shall see. We'll see when it's coming up if I've got time. But I do believe it was like it's fall. I think it's
so
around
too.
this time. Okay, cool. Yeah. So maybe a oral report trip to the Hump Film Festival is coming up.
Field trip.
Oh, I like it. Taking the show on the road. Look at us. New locations, fun stuff going on.
Perfect.
Fall date.
Yeah.
All right.
What else? What else have we not covered?
Well, I think there's a matching expectation between men's bodies and women's bodies.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
That was one of the most shocking things that I noticed at the porn festival, whatever I was at AVN in January. It's just how skinny these women are.
Really?
So skinny, yes. a lot of them, and like I know they work hard for it, you know, like they're in the gym, they eat right. It's their job. I mean, it's like a model's job to look a certain way as well. But some of these women, I was just truly shocked because, you know, camera adds 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And
oh, wow. And they already look thin on film. So.
Yes. So seeing some of these women in person, you know, they turn sideways and they practically disappeared. I was just like blown away. And so then I've gone back and looked at some of their work online. And now that I've, you know, seen them in person, it's much, much easier to spot like, oh, yep. Yeah, like they are rather angular and bony on film. But I think it definitely sets an expectation that that's what women look like.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I'm on my side, I'll have a little roll on the side there. Right. Like, they don't show that in porn.
No, they don't. They move. They reposition. They reset the shot. They move the camera. They change the lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And a lot of those porn stars are super fit. So they don't have rolls when they sit down.
But this is why, I mean, for me anyways, when I feel self-conscious around porn, like, I think I'm not an unattractive person, but when I look at porn, I look at, like, what's going on in porn, I'm always like, I don't look like these women.
No.
You know? And I don't, for what it's worth, I don't really want to. Like, I'm pretty content.
Yeah.
But I get self-conscious, and I know other women do, about my partner watching porn, thinking like, is this what you're expecting from me in any way? Like, you're expecting me to be really fit, ready to have anal right away, screaming and reaching climax immediately 1,000 times over, and just like, you know, down for anything else along the way, and enjoying having my clit spanked for the effect. Like, you can't help but want to put a huge disclaimer on all internet porn that says like, this is for entertainment purposes. This is just a movie. Right. This is not representative of real life. Yeah. And that's not true. I shouldn't say it's not all internet porn.
Right, that's true.
There's quality porn out there.
Absolutely.
There's porn that includes more realistic looking people with cellulite or stretch marks and men who aren't just like swung like horses, right?
And more realistic, more normal dick sizes. Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to touch on, though, especially from that Reddit article, there was a lot of people discussing, like, men being really violent or, like, aggressive in bed.
That's true.
And that is one thing, like, and a lot of people took issue with choking, which, I mean, I enjoy being choked.
Yeah, same.
So, we certainly can't say it's a blanket statement like, don't choke women, that's bad.
Right.
But
learn how.
Yeah. Because that's absolutely. And didn't we talk about that at one point?
Yeah, we did. There's an air choke and a blood choke. Mm-hmm. And if you just watch a video, you probably assume that all you're doing is putting your hand over someone. That, again, because that's like cinematic, right? That's what we see in heist movies and everything, right?
Of course, yeah.
When it comes to sex, there's a really specific, correct way to choke someone. Mm-hmm. It was brought to my attention the other day that millennials enjoy choking, or report enjoying choking more than previous generations. Weird. And I think that's two reasons. One, porn, right? Two, desensitization. Because for us, we've seen it. We grew up. I mean, you know, you and I in particular grew up where we were teenagers during like the wild, wild west days of the internet. You know? Like the content wasn't as available as it is now. It's super available super broad, now. Endless new partners, and then. But when we were growing up, like, you could get access to stuff because it was completely unfettered. Like, there was no Pornhub.com. True. It was interspersed with, like, your downloads on Mozilla or Kazaa or whatever the first, was it Napster? Napster. Yeah, you could get the weirdest stuff on Napster. Huh. At least I did. I was very curious.
The dark corners of the internet were everywhere.
There were a lot of dark corners back then. Now the dark corners are way deeper.
Yes.
But they're easier to... They're like sussed out more. Like they stay in their corners.
The internet's more organized now. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. But also a lot scarier. And you're so right. Like, there's so much aggression towards women. There's punishment porn. There's revenge porn. Ugh. There's things that make... And there's a difference between, like, consensual BDSM, power play, sensation play, impact play, right? Like, and having conversations on it, but they don't show the conversation and the consent talk in porn.
Or the aftercare.
Right, that's so true. Porn starts the minute that bodies start touching, and it ends at ejaculation. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't show you the conversations, the touching, the caressing, the loving.
Right. Because that would completely ruin it. After you just watch 10 minutes of some guy like essentially degrading a woman, then afterwards, after he comes, to be like, are you okay?
Right. Can I hold you, stroke your hair for a while? Right. You don't want to watch 10 or 20 or 30 minutes of what actually happens afterward.
Hugging and cuddling. And,
right.
No.
I do. I would watch it.
I would watch it too. That would make me feel a lot better about it.
Right. Then I could be really into it. Yeah.
Me.
I could be so into watching you get degraded if I knew that she was into it beforehand and into it after.
Absolutely. That would be a turn on to me.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
We didn't talk about this, but I want to throw it in. Vomiting on your dick.
Oh, what?
I don't know. To be honest, and I don't mean to yuck someone's yum. For any women out there listening to this who are like, I love vomiting. I love being choked by a penis to the point of vomiting. Like, fuck yeah, sister. For me, it is something that I so do not love. Like, I've been working my whole adult life to get rid of this goddamn gag reflex. Okay? I have a very, very thing you should know about me. Super active gag reflex. Gag even when I'm using my toothbrush. I've done some work around it. It's persistent.
Yeah.
To that end, I do not like the idea of throwing up during sex. I don't.
No.
I don't like throwing up ever, really.
I'm not a big fan of bodily fluids. So I don't really want to incorporate a lot of that into sex. You know, peeing, I mean, a little bit of spit's fine, but like, ooh, that can get real weird. Blood, vomit, poop. No.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and politely pass on that.
Right, but I think porn has really normalized, especially vomit.
Well, yeah, and that's so strange to me because that popped up a lot in, doing research that a lot of women are like, do not choke me to the point of vomiting. I'm like, whoa, what?
Yeah, this is happening.
When did that become
It's a thing now.
a thing?
Yeah.
Oof. Well, and I know a lot of the blowjobs that I see in porn now, it's the sort of like, you kneel here, keep your mouth open, and I'm going to fuck your face.
Right. Huge difference between oral sex and face fucking.
Yeah. There's a lot of face fucking that goes on now, which, oof, I don't think I've ever... I mean, I've definitely experienced it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've never been with anyone who, desired that.
Right. I think all of these things can be sexy on your terms.
Yeah.
Right? Like, can you experiment a little bit with face fucking? Like, maybe you're into that. Maybe you like to have the back of your head held. And, what will turn me on is if you put, a hand back there, but no pressure.
I still have control.
Yes, exactly. Then, it's the thought and this kind of, sub-dom thing starts to form.
You can play with a lot of this without actually going the full mile with it.
Yes.
So, you can rest your hand on the back of my head and it gives the illusion of that sort of dominance and power and face fucking without me wanting to kill you.
Right. Or my gag reflex already starting because it's PTSD in there and it's oh God, next we're going to gag.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And vomiting during sex for me would be mortifying.
Yeah, I couldn't. And I would feel like I had to clean up and brush my teeth.
Yes.
And
brush my teeth,
not yucking your yum. If you're into it, fucking more power to you. It's a personal preference for me. And it's something that I see happening a lot in couples. It's not just porn anymore. But people are getting these ideas from porn.
Right. And if you're into that, great.
Yeah.
But make sure that both parties are into it
first. Yeah. And here's the thing that we never see in porn. There's never a communication consent agreement conversation about what we're going to do ever.
No.
And there's never hands.
Yeah.
Right? So, hands are such a crucial part of sex. And I don't mean, hands in fingering or hands in choking, right? I mean, just, where your hands go on your partner. Mm-hmm. The way that you grip your partner. The way that you touch them. The way that you caress them, right? There's never, a close-in on how her fingers are, lightly scratching down his back. Or his hands are, digging into the corners of her hips, right?
Hot.
I love that. Hot. Nothing turns me on more than having a partner behind me and then, feeling their fingertips just, sink into my hips a little bit, right? That's delicious, but you never get that in porn.
Yeah. And I was just discussing this earlier. When you see in porn, the actress's, foot falls a little bit and the guy will immediately push it back up. That's just to get the shot.
Yeah.
Most guys, I mean, it is kind of hot sometimes when they hold your legs up, but for the most part, you don't need to do that.
Right.
I don't need my legs held out like stirrups.
Hey, we're not practicing for our trapeze act.
No. And I have to say, some of the hottest things I've seen is because it happens rarely, but in porn, when like, especially when someone's like doing somebody from behind, and the guy will lean forward and like kiss, like they'll start making out. That is so hot and so rarely shown. But like the passion, and I think that's what a lot of porn lacks is just passion.
Yeah. Those indicators
very
of passion,
business.
right? Like kissing, caressing,
Hand holding.
yeah, those like light breaths.
Yeah.
You know, the whispers and things that you
Right,
share
right.
with your partner.
Yeah.
But just going slow and like not like quick fucking and
That's
funny
what I was going to
angles.
say. Jackhammering.
Jackhammering.
It
No.
also can be hot,
Yeah, it has a time and a place.
but after a lot of warm up.
Yes, because like there's actually a part of a woman's body that is tucked up right next to her cervix. These two like areas that are really hot to be stimulated.
Yeah.
And they are best stimulated by deep rhythmic thrusting. But they don't even become available. You can't even reach them until there's been a process that involves moving her cervix and her womb up out of the way. Yeah, there's a tilt, right? When she gets aroused, this is kind of like if you think about women's arousal as a series of dominoes.
Yeah.
The last sort of piece to that puzzle moves her womb
it
space, her
out of the
uterus
way.
up out of the way, exposes those two areas, and that's when jackhammering feels good.
Yeah.
For most of us, that's like 20 to 40 minutes after
Yes.
we've started being aroused.
Yeah. And you don't, it's kind of trial and error. You don't know that you are ready for it unless you try it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't feel good, then you're not ready for it
Yep.
yet. So,
And it's not going to happen every time.
No.
It's not going to happen the same way every time, at the
No.
same time marker every time.
sex is all about context.
Yeah.
You know, what you can do it the same time, the same place every day, but like if you had a bad day, your body's not going to relax as much.
Yeah.
If you've spent all morning horny as hell and you're like, I can't wait to get home, it's going to be different, you know? So you just can't expect it to always be the same, or results may vary.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yes. Context matters and results may vary.
Yeah. And I think we've covered a lot of the ones that stand out for me.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that I've personally experienced.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested in hearing from our listeners if they
Absolutely.
have others that they'd like to add.
Maybe
Because
we'll throw it up on our Instagram.
yes, I'm sure that we've missed many that other people have experienced, and
I'm sure.
we've just been fortunate to experience these.
Yeah. But porn, the world of porn is such a wide, vast world. I'm sure there's so much out there that we have no idea about.
Yeah, and my recommendation for anyone listening to this is if porn is something that sincerely interests you, to keep researching, keep digging, ask for recommendations, do research on the kind of porn that you like, and then when you see something in porn that really interests you, do research on that thing, because
Yeah.
there's so much quality information out there on the internet, but there's also so much quality or information that lacks quality. Yeah, garbage.
There's
Yes,
so
thank
much
you. That's the word I was
garbage.
looking for. There's also a lot of garbage. So make
Yeah.
sure that you're getting your information from a trusted source that's not just trying to sell you a silver bullet on how to get her off, or
Right.
how to reach orgasm, or how to please your man, or whatever, right? Like,
Right.
do the work, learn how to choke, learn how to spank, learn how to stimulate a clitoris.
Yeah. The correct way.
All the ways.
Yeah. I mean, porn can be fun. I'm certainly not, ragging on it. Just let's remember this is for entertainment. I think that's a big, big takeaway.
Yep. Hell yes, sister.
Yeah.